What's up? It's Ron. So on February 13th, the SEC, which is the government agency that regulates the financial markets, officially acknowledged Grayscale's request to turn XRP Trust into an ETF. Now, this doesn't mean it's approved yet, but it's a really big step forward. Think of it like this. If you wanted to get a license for something, the first step is getting the authorities to even look at your application. That's exactly what happened here. The SEC could have just ignored it right away, but instead they acknowledged it, which means they're at least considering it. Now, Nate, I think it's Garassi or something like that, who's a well-known expert on ETFs, said it's a big deal. He called it an enormous message, meaning the SEC is signaling something important. Now, Grayscale, which is a big company that creates these investment products, originally launched its XRP Trust back in September of 24. Then in January, they asked the SEC to convert it into an ETF, which would make it easier for regular investors to buy and sell. Now, MEMX has joined the chat, so to speak. MEMX is called Members Exchange. It's a stock exchange built as a cheaper and more competitive alternative to big exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. It was started by major financial firms like Charles Schwab, Fidelity, and Morgan Stanley to offer lower fees and better trading options. Now here's where MEMX comes in. Unlike Grayscale, which is trying to convert its existing XRP Trust into ETF, Members Exchange is taking a different approach. They want to list XRP as a commodity trust, which is the same category that Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs fall under. So why does this matter? Well, because MEMX's strategy might have a better chance to get approved than Grayscale's. So in simple terms, Grayscale is asking the SEC to convert its existing product into an ETF. And I'll get more into that in a minute. MEMX is trying to get XRP listed under a category the SEC has already approved for Bitcoin and Ethereum, which could make approval easier. Now, all of this matters because if Grayscale or MEMX succeeds, it would open the floodgate for big investors to start buying XRP, which could push the price way up. Again, I'll get deeper into why this is important in just a minute, but before we go further, if you guys could be so kind, give this video a like and please sub. I'm still trying to reach my first 100 subscribers. Remember, nothing that you hear on this video is financial advice, and to do your own research before putting your hard-earned money anywhere. So you all might be hearing a lot of ETF, crypto filing for an ETF, but what does that mean and why is it so important? Well, let's just focus on what Grayscale is doing. An ETF is an exchange traded fund. It's basically an investment fund that trades on the stock market, just like a regular stock. Instead of buying the actual asset like gold, oil, or in this case, XRP, you buy shares of an ETF, which represents ownership of that asset. This makes it way easier for everyday investors to get exposure to something like XRP without having to deal with the technical side of buying and storing crypto, which for most of us watching can understand, but the normies don't really know how to get started. Now, if the SEC were to approve the XRP ETF, here's what would likely happen. More investors will buy in. Right now, if someone wants to invest in XRP, they have to go to a crypto exchange, set up a wallet, and then deal with the complexities of crypto. But with the ETF, traditional investors, like those using a brokerage account for stocks, can buy it just like a regular stock. This opens the doors for huge amounts of new money flowing into XRP. Then you have institutional investors get involved. Big institutions like hedge funds, retirement funds, and banks who typically avoid buying crypto directly due to regulation and security risks. But with the ETF, it's regulated and secure, which means these big players can now invest in XRP without hesitation. And when big money flows in, prices go up. An ETF approval from the SEC would be like an official stamp of approval for XRP. It lets the world know that XRP is a real, credible asset worth investing in. This can create a wave of positive sentiment that drives more people to buy, pushing the price even higher. All of these things can cause XRP's price to surge. Now, you may be saying, Ron, that sounds good, but who is Grayscale and how will their role make XRP's price surge? So Grayscale is a huge investment company that specializes in crypto. They create trusts, which are like special investment funds that allow people to invest in crypto without actually having to buy and store it themselves. Remember, back in September, Grayscale launched something called the Grayscale XRP Trust. This trust allowed investors to put money into XRP without dealing with the crypto exchanges and wallets. But there's a catch. Trusts aren't as as flexible as ETFs because they can only be bought or sold in specific ways, and they don't always match the real price of the asset. That's why in January, Grayscale decided to apply to convert that XRP trust into an ETF. An ETF is a way better option. It can be traded like a stock on a regular stock market. It usually has lower fees. And again, more investors, especially the big institutions, feel comfortable buying it like we just mentioned. Now, if the SEC approves Grayscale's XRP ETF, here's what could happen. Grayscale becomes the gateway for XRP investing. With an ETF now approved, anyone with a brokerage account like Robinhood, Fidelity, E-Trade could easily invest in XRP without touching crypto exchanges. That means a huge wave of investors will pile in. And this is because they already know how to use those exchanges. The SEC is basically acknowledging XRP as a legitimate asset for mainstream investing. That kind of credibility boost can make even more investors confident in buying XRP, further driving up the price. Remember, Grayscale has already successfully converted its Bitcoin trust into a Bitcoin ETF, and that move helped bring in billions of dollars in investments. If they could do the same with XRP, it could trigger a major price rally. So this is huge news for all of us holding XRP. So now you may be thinking, well, this is all great, but it's not approved yet. So why does this news even matter? Well, this is important because the SEC acknowledging Grayscale's request means they are officially considering it an XRP ETF instead of rejecting it outright. The SEC has been in a long legal battle with Ripple, the company behind XRP, claiming XRP might be an unregistered security. We all remember that. By acknowledging Grayscale's ETF application instead of just dismissing it immediately, the SEC is signaling that it's willing to engage with XRP in a more regulated, mainstream way. We're watching their actions, not what anyone is saying or speculating. And regulatory clarity is some of the biggest hurdles in crypto investing. While this isn't an approval yet, every ETF must follow a process. First, the SEC acknowledges the application, which is what they just did. Then they review it and either approve it or reject it. The fact that they chose to move forward instead of just rejecting it outright means the door is still open for XRP's ETF to become a reality. So this is a big deal. Get those moon bags ready. Remember, nothing you hear on this video is financial advice, and to do your own research before putting your hard-earned money anywhere, drop a comment below. And if you're still watching right now, super thank you. Don't leave me hanging. Please like the video and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.